In the world of royal speculation and tabloid whispers, another salvo has been fired into the already contentious debate surrounding Meghan Markle's time before her marriage to Prince Harry. Julie Burchill, a sharp-tongued columnist with a reputation for unflinching candor, has penned an explosive piece that once again brings to light claims about Meghan's pre-royal past. Burchill's column, titled, "Meghan's Yacht Girl Past, The Truth We Deserve," hits the internet like a bombshell. According to Burchill, Meghan Markle spent her formative years as a yacht girl, a term often used pejoratively in British society to describe young women who spend their time partying and socializing on high-end yachts. This, Burchill argues, paints a picture of Meghan as someone who prioritized luxury and lifestyle over more substantial pursuits. Supporters of the Sussexes would likely dismiss such claims as typical tabloid fodder, emphasizing that everyone has a past and that Meghan's achievements since her marriage to Prince Harry speak for themselves. However, critics argue that Burchill's column is not just about Meghan's past but about the values she embodies, values seen by some as being out of touch with the more austere and traditional expectations of the monarchy. Burchill goes on to quote various sources who claim that during her yacht girl days, Meghan was known for her lavish spending and partying. She allegedly frequented exclusive yachting events where the rich and famous mingle, often at the expense of those less fortunate. According to Burchill's sources, these experiences shaped Meghan into a woman more interested in material comforts than in serving the public good. However, supporters would counter that such claims are unfair and ignore the fact that much has changed since then. They argue that Meghan Markle has become a champion for causes close to her heart, such as mental health awareness and diversity in the royal family. Her marriage to Prince Harry saw her step into a role that demanded public service and responsibility. In this ongoing debate, you decide where you stand. Do the reported events of Meghan's past reflect poorly on her character? Or do they merely highlight the complexities of a young woman navigating her way through a world often defined by wealth and privilege? The column by Julie Burchill has certainly reignited conversations that were once thought to be long buried, ensuring that discussions about Meghan Markle's pre-royal life continue to simmer just beneath the surface. The royal world has been abuzz with the latest revelations from journalist Julie Burchill's explosive column. According to her claims, Meghan Markle's past as a yacht girl is far more complex than previously known. Sources quoted by the tabloid suggest that during her time in Los Angeles, Meghan was involved in several high-profile yacht parties and social gatherings, often seen with wealthy and influential men. Critics argue that these events paint a picture of Meghan's early years as being much more glamorous and perhaps less focused on her royal duties. Supporters, however, would say that such details are irrelevant to her current role and achievements. You decide. Does this past reflect poorly on Meghan's suitability for the monarchy? Burchill's column also raises questions about how these stories were allowed to surface in the first place. Reporters claim that there is a growing debate among royal watchers regarding the balance between privacy and public interest. Some argue that such information should remain hidden, while others believe it's part of the transparency expected from modern royals. As we navigate this evolving narrative, one thing remains clear: the scrutiny of Meghan Markle continues to be intense. Will these revelations alter perceptions of her suitability for the role? Or will they simply add another layer to the ongoing debate about the royal family and their public image? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below or continue the conversation on our channel. In the world of British royal commentary, few voices are as polarizing, or as eagerly anticipated, as that of Julie Burchill. A veteran columnist known for her incisive and often controversial writing, Burchill has long been a lightning rod for debate. Her columns are not merely read, they are discussed, dissected, and sometimes even debated in the corridors of power. In a recent explosive column, Burchill delved into a lesser-known aspect of Meghan Markle's past, her time as a yacht girl. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Burchill claimed that Markle's years on yachts, sailing the Mediterranean and beyond, were not just a glamorous lifestyle choice but a formative experience that shaped her worldview and perhaps even her approach to public life. Supporters of Meghan might argue that such experiences are common among young professionals in the entertainment industry. Critics, however, would say that Burchill's revelations cast a new light on Markle's background, suggesting a lifestyle that might be seen as less than conventional for a future royal. You decide, does this insight add depth to her character, or does it merely highlight the gulf between her and the more traditional paths of other royals? Burchill's column sparked immediate backlash from Meghan's defenders, who point out that many successful individuals have unconventional beginnings. Meanwhile, skeptics argue that such details can be telling in a world where every aspect of royal life is scrutinized with an almost microscopic attention to detail. As the debate rages on, one thing remains clear: Julie Burchill's columns continue to be a force for sparking conversation, and sometimes controversy, around the British monarchy. In a sensational twist that has sent shockwaves through the royal commentary community, Julie Burchill's latest column in The Guardian is reported to have delved into Meghan Markle's early years with an unflinching lens. According to Burchill, who is known for her sharp and often controversial writing style, the article suggests that Markle's glamorous image as a yacht girl may be more than just a fashion statement. Burchill claims that sources close to the royal watchers have revealed that Markle's time on yachts, particularly during her early career in Los Angeles, was not merely a leisure activity. Critics argue that these experiences might have provided her with an insider's look into high society circles, a skill set that could have been invaluable when she transitioned from actress to socialite. Supporters of Meghan would say that such claims are nothing more than the tabloids feeding their appetite for scandal, suggesting that Burchill's column is simply a desperate attempt to generate headlines. They point out that Markle's background as an actress and her subsequent rise in the entertainment industry are well documented and do not necessarily require embellishment. However, Burchill asserts that these yacht experiences were pivotal in shaping Meghan's public persona. She argues that the privileged lifestyle on yachts exposed Markle to influential people who could have played a role in her eventual connection with Prince Harry. According to Burchill, this connection was more than just a chance meeting. It was a carefully crafted narrative that helped propel both of their careers forward. You decide, is there truth behind Julie Burchill's claims about Meghan Markle's yacht days? Or are these merely the latest in a series of sensationalist articles designed to stir up controversy and debate? The Sussexes' public image has always been a carefully crafted narrative. But Julie Burchill's explosive column in the Daily Mail threatens to tear away that veneer, revealing details about Meghan Markle's past that have long been whispered behind closed doors. Supporters of the couple would argue that such revelations are nothing more than an attempt by the press to tarnish their image. They might point out that Burchill has a history of controversial statements and question her credibility. Meghan is a hard-working mother and advocate, one supporter would say, and these reports only serve to distract from the real issues facing Britain today. Meanwhile, Meghan's camp would likely issue a strong rebuttal, emphasizing their commitment to transparency and honesty. They might cite Burchill's history of inflammatory statements and suggest that her column is part of an ongoing smear campaign against them. We have always been open about our experiences, they might claim, and we will continue to share the truth. Critics, on the other hand, would see this as a long overdue reckoning. They might argue that Burchill's revelations shed light on Meghan's past and provide context for her behavior during her time in the royal family. It's about time someone brought some reality to the narrative, one critic would say, and exposed the truth behind Meghan's glamorous image. The debate rages on, with both sides digging their heels in. As Burchill's column circulates widely, it becomes clear that this is not just a story about the past, it's a battle for control over the narrative of the modern royal family. Stay with me, because the next part is the one everyone is talking about. The fallout from Julie Burchill's explosive column was swift and severe. Critics pounced on her for what they deemed an unflinching, perhaps even cruel, portrayal of Meghan Markle. Burchill's piece, one commentator claimed, crossed the line into gratuitous sensationalism. The column, which alleged that Meghan had a history as a wealthy socialite who spent lavishly and carelessly on her yacht, was met with both shock and dismay from those who viewed it as nothing short of an unwarranted personal attack. Supporters of the Sussexes argued vehemently against Burchill's claims. Meghan is not defined by her past, one defender insisted. This column reduces her to a caricature. Others pointed out that the article lacked concrete evidence, relying instead on unverified anecdotes and assumptions. It's easy to make these kinds of accusations without any real proof, another critic remarked. Meanwhile, royal watchers weighed in with their own opinions. Burchill's piece is just the latest in a string of negative commentary about Meghan, one source quoted by the tabloids noted. But it's important to remember that she has shown genuine dedication and commitment to her role as a member of the royal family. The debate raged on, with some arguing that Burchill's column was necessary for transparency, while others insisted that privacy should be respected. You decide, one commentator concluded, leaving the audience to ponder the balance between public interest and personal dignity. The tabloids are abuzz with a new column from Julie Burchill that promises to peel back another layer of the Meghan Markle mystery. Why does this kind of story resonate so deeply in today's climate? It's not just about the royal drama, it's about the public's desire for transparency and the belief that there's always more behind the scenes. Burchill, a columnist known for her sharp wit and unflinching critique, dives into Meghan's past, specifically her days as a yacht girl. According to Burchill, this period of her life is crucial in understanding how Meghan has maintained her public persona. She writes, reports suggest that during her time in the yachting world, Markle was seen as more than just another crew member. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim she often found herself in situations that required a high level of discretion and even secrecy. Critics argue that this background is significant because it hints at a life of privilege and potential scandal, which aligns with the narrative of an actress from a wealthy family who later became a princess. Supporters would say such claims are unfair and that Burchill's column is merely a distraction from more pressing royal matters. The timing of Burchill's piece couldn't be more opportune. With King Charles III still settling into his role, the public is hungry for any new information about the Sussexes. The column taps into long-standing skepticism towards Meghan and Harry, particularly since their departure from royal duties and subsequent move to California. Burchill's choice of topic also speaks to a broader narrative, that the royal family operates in a world where every detail is scrutinized and every action is analyzed for deeper meaning. Her column suggests that even the most seemingly innocuous aspects of Meghan's life, like her time as a yacht girl, could hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. As we digest Burchill's claims, it's clear that this kind of story travels far because it feeds into a narrative that many already believe, that behind every royal title lies a complex, sometimes troubling, reality. You decide, does this column add new insight or simply continue the cycle of speculation and criticism? In recent weeks, a fierce debate has raged across social media platforms and in the press about the role of Meghan Markle within the royal family. At the heart of this controversy lies Julie Burchill's explosive column, which not only delves into the less savory aspects of the American actress's past but also reignites the broader conversation about the balance between insightful commentary and cruel personal attacks. Burchill, a renowned British journalist known for her sharp wit and unflinching honesty, has once again taken center stage. Her latest piece, published in The Guardian, focuses on a part of Meghan's life that has been largely overlooked, her time as what Burchill describes as a yacht girl. According to the column, this period of Markle's career involved frequent partying and a lifestyle that some have found questionable. Supporters of the royal family argue that such personal attacks are unbecoming. They point out that the monarchy is often seen as a beacon of stability and tradition, and any criticism should focus on policy or actions rather than personal lives. You decide, they might say, whether it's appropriate to scrutinize every detail of the Duchess's past. Critics, however, see Burchill's column as part of an ongoing narrative that seeks to undermine Meghan's credibility within the family. They argue that her time as a yacht girl is relevant because it demonstrates a lack of discipline and maturity, traits they believe are essential for someone in such a high-profile role. Supporters would say, they might retort, that every detail of the Sussexes' lives must be questioned to maintain public trust. The line between insightful commentary and cruel personal attacks has always been thin, but Burchill's column pushes it to its limits. Reports suggest that some royal watchers are concerned about the tone and potential impact of such articles. They worry that by focusing on Meghan's past, Burchill may be perpetuating a narrative that could damage the reputation of the entire family. Meanwhile, others argue that transparency is crucial for public trust in any institution, including the monarchy. You decide, they might add, whether the royal family should be above scrutiny or if there's value in understanding the full picture. As the debate rages on, one thing remains clear: the line between insightful commentary and cruel personal attacks is a delicate balance that continues to be tested. In recent weeks, Julie Burchill's explosive column has reignited discussions about Meghan Markle's past, specifically her time as a model and actress before she became part of the royal family. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Burchill paints a picture of how Markle used her public image to advance her career. Critics argue that this portrayal casts a shadow over her perceived transformation from yacht girl to duchess. Burchill suggests that during her time in Hollywood, Markle leveraged her glamorous image to secure roles and high-profile gigs, often positioning herself as a modern, independent woman. Supporters of the Sussexes might counter by saying that her career was built on genuine talent and hard work, not just her public persona. However, Burchill's column draws attention to how this pre-royal life could be seen as in stark contrast to the image she presented once she joined the royal family. Reports suggest that Markle's early career as a model and actress were characterized by a certain level of commercial savvy, which some argue is not necessarily incompatible with her eventual role as a duchess. However, others claim this background raises questions about authenticity and the true nature of her journey into the monarchy. The column has sparked debate among royal watchers, who are left to ponder whether Markle's past can be reconciled with her current position. In essence, Burchill's piece adds another layer to the ongoing narrative surrounding Meghan Markle, prompting viewers to consider how her pre-royal life might affect perceptions of her role in the monarchy. Critics argue that this scrutiny is part of a broader questioning of the Sussexes' suitability for their roles, while supporters defend her as someone who has genuinely evolved and adapted to her new responsibilities. And that is not even the part that has the commentary world in a frenzy. The Sussexes have faced a storm of criticism since their departure from royal duties. Julie Burchill's latest column in The Guardian has added another layer to the debate, suggesting that Meghan Markle's past as a yacht girl might explain her perceived lack of respect for protocol and tradition. Critics argue that this background makes her unfit for royal life. Supporters of Meghan have rallied to defend her, pointing out that Burchill's claims are based on speculation rather than concrete evidence. They argue that everyone starts somewhere, and it's unfair to judge someone solely by their past. You decide, they say, whether a person's background should define their character or actions. One supporter writes, Julie Burchill is known for her provocative columns, but this time she's hit a nerve. Meghan has grown so much since those early days. She's shown real strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Another adds, Meghan has always been about progress and breaking down barriers. Her past doesn't define who she is now. Supporters also highlight that many royal watchers have long argued that the transition from a commoner to a princess can be challenging for anyone. They point out that the monarchy itself has evolved over time, with modern royals adapting to new roles and expectations. The crown has always been about change, one critic argues. Meghan's journey is part of that evolution. These defenders emphasize that Meghan's actions since leaving the UK have demonstrated her commitment to her role as a global advocate for mental health awareness and diversity. They argue that it's unfair to dismiss her contributions based on past associations or perceived shortcomings. In this ongoing debate, one thing remains clear: while Burchill's column has sparked intense discussion, it hasn't provided any new concrete evidence. The argument continues to revolve around interpretation and opinion, with supporters of Meghan Markle standing firm in their belief that she's grown into a force for good despite any past challenges. The media landscape has seen a dramatic shift in its coverage of Meghan Markle since her departure from the royal family. Once lauded for her fresh approach and modern image, she is now often portrayed through a different lens by various commentators. Julie Burchill's recent column, titled, Yacht Girl, The Untold Story of Meghan Markle, has added fuel to this evolving narrative. Burchill, known for her sharp and often controversial writing style, claims that the media's treatment of Meghan has become increasingly skeptical. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Burchill argues that the public perception of Meghan has shifted from one of admiration to one of suspicion. She suggests that this change is rooted in reports suggesting that Meghan's initial entry into royal life was less about genuine commitment and more about a calculated move for personal gain. Supporters, Burchill notes, would say that Meghan's influence on the monarchy brought fresh perspectives and modernized its image. However, critics argue that her actions since then, particularly her decision to step back with Harry, have raised questions about her loyalty and commitment. Burchill herself states, "It's clear that the media now sees Meghan as a figure who prioritizes personal success over duty." The column delves into reports suggesting that Meghan's time in the royal family was marked by extravagant spending, including a lavish yacht purchase that has become a focal point of scrutiny. Commentators claim that this expenditure is seen as emblematic of her perceived lack of frugality and detachment from traditional royal values. Burchill concludes by posing a question to her readers: do we still believe in Meghan's sincerity? Or have the media's changing narratives about her truly revealed a different side of her story? The debate rages on, with supporters defending her actions and detractors pointing to what they see as inconsistencies. As for you, decide where you stand. This narrative shift not only impacts how Meghan is perceived, but also highlights the dynamic nature of royal coverage in today's media landscape. The column by Julie Burchill, titled, Yacht Girl, has sparked intense debate within royal circles and beyond. According to Burchill, Meghan Markle's upbringing on a luxury yacht in the Caribbean during her formative years provides an insight into her character that many find unsettling. Burchill argues that this privileged lifestyle, far removed from the traditional values of the British monarchy, contributed to a sense of detachment and a lack of genuine connection with the public. Critics argue that such a narrative is little more than a sensationalist attack on Meghan's background. They point out that Burchill's claims are based on second-hand accounts and personal anecdotes, which can be highly subjective and often unreliable. Supporters of the Sussexes counter that Burchill's column is nothing but an attempt to paint Meghan in a negative light, using her past to question her suitability for the role she now plays. However, it's important to approach such claims with caution. Reports suggest that while Meghan's early life on the yacht certainly provided her with a unique perspective, it does not necessarily define her character or her contributions to the royal family. The monarchy is complex and multifaceted, each member brings their own experiences and values to the table. King Charles III has stated publicly that his focus lies in unifying the nation and strengthening the role of the monarchy in modern times. Prince William, as heir apparent, also emphasizes the importance of bridging traditional roles with contemporary issues. In this context, critics argue that Meghan's background should not be a barrier to her contributions. Supporters would say that focusing on past events diverts attention from the positive work and support she has provided during her time in the royal family. They point out that her dedication to causes such as mental health awareness and supporting veterans is widely recognized and appreciated by many. In conclusion, while Julie Burchill's column certainly raises interesting questions about Meghan Markle's past, it remains one perspective among many. You decide whether this narrative adds value or detracts from the public image of a member of the royal family who has made significant strides in her role. The storm has been building for weeks, and now Julie Burchill's explosive column in The Guardian has brought it crashing down upon the Sussexes. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Burchill reveals that Meghan Markle's past as a yacht girl is more than just a colourful anecdote, it's become a focal point of criticism and controversy. Burchill writes that Markle's early years on yachts, sailing around the world, are now being scrutinized under a microscope. Critics argue that these experiences highlight her privileged background and hint at a lifestyle that contrasts starkly with the struggles faced by many British subjects. Supporters, however, would say that everyone has their own story to tell, and Markle's journey from actress to royal should be celebrated for what it is. The real story, though, isn't in the specifics of her sailing days, it's in the ferocity of the coverage itself. Commentators claim that this renewed focus on her past underscores a broader narrative, that Meghan and Harry are increasingly seen as out of touch with the values of the monarchy they now represent. This is not just about Markle's yachting adventures, it's about how her background and lifestyle are perceived by the public. Reports suggest that royal watchers argue this scrutiny isn't merely about Meghan's past but reflects a deeper divide between the royals and their subjects. You decide, does this renewed attention on Markle's yacht girl days signal a growing tension, or is it simply another chapter in the ongoing saga of the Sussexes? Before we go on, drop a comment with your verdict. I read every one. The revelations are in. Julie Burchill's latest column has stirred up a storm with its explosive claims about Meghan Markle's past as a yacht girl. Critics argue that this label paints her as a gold digger who exploited the royal family for financial gain and social status. Supporters, on the other hand, claim these accusations are nothing more than tabloid fodder, aiming to tarnish Meghan's image. Burchill cites reports suggesting that Markle was part of a lavish lifestyle aboard luxury yachts, often frequented by high-profile individuals. Sources quoted by the tabloids, she writes, claim that Meghan's connections were primarily through wealthy men who provided for her in exchange for, well, you decide. Supporters counter with their own narrative. They argue that Markle's career as a lawyer and her work in entertainment before joining the royal family demonstrate her genuine passion and hard-earned success. They point out that her lifestyle was not solely dependent on yachts, citing her multifaceted career and public service roles. As we delve deeper into this debate, one question looms large: is Meghan's past as a yacht girl truly relevant to her role in the royal family? Critics argue that such allegations undermine her integrity and the trust of the British public. But supporters maintain that these claims are nothing more than an attempt to discredit her. So, what do you think? Is this just another chapter in the ongoing saga of the Sussexes, or does it hold deeper implications for Meghan's place within the royal circle? Join us next time as we explore further into the world of Julie Burchill's explosive revelations and the wider debate surrounding Meghan Markle.